We're in a really exciting space. WhatsApp, at one point earlier in the year, actually went head-to-head with the government and said, we're going to withdraw from the UK. There is going to be an alignment of Facebook Messenger, Instagram DMs, and WhatsApp to become one mega messaging app. 75% of all sales goes to the person who responds first. That's it.
Hey there guys, welcome back to another episode of the Ultimate Marketing Podcast where myself, Vish, and my two lovely co-hosts, the absolutely formidable Danita.
Hello.
Good morning. Thanks, Dee. Thanks for jumping in. And the absolutely formidable Sarah Cox.
Morning.
Take you on a journey of wondrous insights into marketing amazingness. And where we obviously regularly bring on our guests as well, special guests who we have the pleasure of having known and worked with in the industry, experts in their own right, and they bring their own expert prowess to the podcast. So we're able to share ideas, tips and tricks, and all that good stuff that's working right now for clients, so you guys can also implement some of that great stuff in your businesses as well. Before we go anywhere, remember to like, share, and comment on the podcast wherever you're listening to us. We're on all the major podcast platforms, as well as YouTube as well. So if you're, not watching this in a car, you're not listening to it in the car, watching it in the car. Why would you watch it in the car, Vish? Come on, hello. If you're not listening to it in a car or in your earphones and you want to put it on like a screen, we're also on YouTube as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all the updates that we have on our channel. So enough about me. Enough about my lovely co-hosts who make this podcast more than bearable, really, really exciting. We've got a very, very special guest, someone who I've got the pleasure of introducing.
I'm very excited about this one, Vish.
Mate, I'm so excited. You should have seen the message that I sent Sam yesterday. Oh, giving his name away. But there's a little slip there. But I was like, dude, I'm so excited, like a little kid on Christmas about today because what Sam does, obviously now you know who it is. It's Sam Howard, who has a really interesting background. Okay, so I'm going to go into his background a little bit. He's a magician turned marketing expert, who's best known as the earliest of early adopters. So he likes to jump on stuff before it's even a thing with early adopters. And he was one of the first people to start using Facebook ads back in 2008, and also one of the first people to start using messenger bots back in 2013, when they were really cumbersome and clunky and stuff, and you had to kind of write a lot of the code for it. And also moving past that, he was actually one of the first people to use WhatsApp automations back in 2019. His company are called 2/3 Different, and they have oh my god, they got like a whole host of celebrity clients, big name brands, and they are Sam said they're looking to be at the very cutting edge of what's technically possible, but having seen what he does and experienced what he does, it's there. It's on the coal face. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest, who you heard so much about today. His name is Sam Howard from 2/3 Different. Give him a round of applause.
Woo! Hi, guys.
Hello.
Good to have you on, Sam. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you're checking in with us from all the way from Bangkok, which is now where you're based, right? So thank you so much. Obviously, we're based here in the UK, but there's a bit of a time difference. But thanks so much for jumping on. Give us a little backstory. Like, how did you get magician to marketer? What happened, dude?
I mean, the main thing that happened was the thing that happened to all of us back in the time when it occurred. I won't mention the name of the plague, but that was really the sort of the big driver to take the full leap in. Before that, I was doing magic still, so I was still a performance magician, but I was also marketing all the venues that I was performing in and doing all of the marketing side, as most performers do. It's that classic thing of you're a DJ. Okay, how many people can you bring? Like it's that classic thing. So I was very much leaned into that and was like, okay, I'm a close-up magician, but I can also bring 300 people with me. Do you want me to perform at your gig? Yes, great. Yeah. So that was kind of the main driving force of how it all started and where everything began. And then it went crazy. So I went over to Mallorca, Magaluf, and started doing magic and performance over there, and started marketing all of those venues. Started back in central London doing all of those venues, and became very well known in sort of event marketing space, I would say. And the great thing about that training, if anyone has ever done event marketing, will know that it's the ultimate perishable. Like if you don't sell the thing at that time, you can't sell it the day after it's happened. So it really is, it works or it doesn't. There's nowhere to hide. So my training was super fast paced, like really fast paced and really cutthroat. It was really like, oh, well, you didn't bring anyone. Goodbye. The job's over. You're off, Oh, and by the way, we haven't sold the ticket, so we can't pay you. Like it's even, it's even more. Yeah. So that was why I jumped on to like the things like Messenger bots and Facebook ads and all of that so early. Because it was like, actually, there's no choice in this space. You have to make it work. Yeah. But I think it's great training. And then obviously we pivoted in during that, the plague time, as I'm referred to it as, over
Sounds like bubonic plague. Like this is like Dark Ages stuff going on, dude.
You've got to think, right? Back then, I was marketing close-up magicians, going on holiday and live events. All three of them in a single day. I thought I'd spread that. I thought I was good to, I'm safe. And all three of them just went done. Yeah. One big go. And I was like, okay, there's the entire bow snapped in half. What do I do now? Yeah. So we pivoted over to doing product stuff. And it was at that point we realized that actually the quality of talent, and don't hate me, this the product marketing guys for saying this, but the quality of talent in product marketing compared to the quality of talent in event marketing is not comparable. The events guys win hands down. Because like I said, it's the ultimate perishable. So it's not like you've got a stock of shoes and, we didn't sell this many this week, but don't worry, we'll sell them next week.
Yeah.
It's, the drive is way, way different. And the pace is different as well, because you've got a 6-week feed in, but you've got an event every day. And it's a different event every day. I was promoting white collar boxing one day, then I was promoting a phone party the next day, then a drag show the day after that, then it was bingo, then it was, a conference for, business people. They were so varied and different. There was no possibility of over that. There were so many different audiences, so many different niches. So we cycle through technology very, very quickly.
Yeah. And so we've come to rest now where specifically you concentrate on WhatsApp automation and WhatsApp marketing, right?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I'm going to say this right now, because I know the focus of this is WhatsApp automation, but I'm going to tell you this now, right? If you're not on WhatsApp automations right now, if you're not using those right now, we're over the hump of it, right? It's like when we talked about at the very beginning with Messenger bot marketing, right? It was an up and then it's kind of died off now, right? Kind of, Facebook Messenger marketing, you can still do it. It still does work, but it's nowhere near what it was back in 2013, 2014. The same with WhatsApp Messenger right now, WhatsApp like automations. That hump of WhatsApp automations was 2020, 2021. That was it, right?
Interesting.
That was where everything went huge because no one knew how to do it. Yeah. So no one knew it was even possible. No one knew this thing was like the best magic trick I've ever done, right? Because I could have a million people and no one knew what was going on. 2023, right now, it's kind of exploded. The publicity around it has got quite big. People have got savvy to it. So the dip off has started to happen. So now everyone's waiting on the next thing that's going to be the big thing. And there are things that are floating around there. Like Air.ai, for example, is one of the ones I'll float around, right? People have heard about it. People have seen it. It's not there yet, but we know it's coming, right? Is AI going to be the big thing, or is automations going to be the big thing? Or perhaps something that none of us are even aware of right now that's going to come up and be it. We test everything and we try our hand at everything. And of course, there are things and tools that I'm not mentioning that we're playing for commercial reasons. But certainly we know two big things are happening in 2023, 2024, right? We know these. Oh, sorry.
Go on. No, go on.
We know two big things are happening. We know that cookies are disappearing, right? Google have already announced that. They've already said they're going. So everyone that does Facebook pixels and everyone that's using GA, whatever the version is now that's flying out, I think J4, but I think J4 will still survive. But anyone that's doing cookie-based stuff, that's disappearing. Cookie-based tracking, that's all going. That's one big thing we know is coming. The second big thing we know is coming is huge changes in the law around what you can do, even if you have the functional ability to do it, what you're allowed to do changes massively. So all the cool tech is suddenly going to switch and change and move and all this stuff. So we're in a really exciting space. WhatsApp at one point earlier in the year actually went head to head with the government and said, we're going to withdraw from the UK unless you change this particular law. I think they have changed the law now, bearing in mind that most of the government runs off of WhatsApp. But there's
Rishi Sunak and Boris Johnson might say differently, but there you go.
I mean, I think that trial might prove that.
Anyway.
But the whole point of this is it's an ever-moving, ever-changing landscape.
Yeah.
When we talk about innovation, actually what we talk about is what is the bandwidth for you being able to test everything at the same time. And if you don't have that bandwidth, then there is something that's going to escape you. Almost guaranteed there's going to be something that will escape you. I wouldn't... my biggest advice say to everyone is try everything. Try everything. Because you don't know what's going to be huge.
That's the crux of marketing anyway, isn't it? It's test and test and test and test and keep testing, right? Because you never... You know, what works today, like you said, will not work tomorrow. You got to always be at the cold face and try and experiment with different things, because audiences' behaviors and perceptions and attitudes to reacting to adverts and marketing always changes, right? And like you said, WhatsApp is great, has been great, and I understand that we are coming over the hump of it, but there's still a lot of businesses, bigger businesses, smaller businesses that haven't actually. They haven't actually adopted strategies like that. So is there still scope in that
100%.
Area for them to adopt stuff like that? Like it's not all doom and gloom saying don't use WhatsApp.
Yes, no. Right? I'm absolutely not saying don't use WhatsApp. No. Yeah. I'm 100%.
Yeah, of course.
Like absolutely. Like instant messaging, right? The big driver for instant messaging, the reason why I looked at it back in 2013 was one simple fact. Well, three simple facts actually. But the first one is 75% of all sales goes to the person who responds first. That's it, right?
Yep.
It's 75%. It doesn't matter if I'm great. Doesn't even matter if you want to buy the thing that I'm selling, actually, right?
Yeah.
We're not buying a whole load of tap just because we tried to buy something and someone calls us and says, hey, you inquired about this, but actually, did you want this instead? And we're there, we're buying it. So that's number one. 75% of sales just go to the person who's fastest. The second stat is the average read time on a WhatsApp message is under 30 seconds, right?
Yes.
The average read time on an email is 17 hours.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact, if I send you a WhatsApp message, you're going to respond to it infinitely. Well, not today, you can do the maths and actually but they are way, way faster, like not even comparable speed. So
absolutely.
That was the second factor that really played a massive game in this. The third factor is just how many people have WhatsApp in the UK. It's astronomical. It's like 94% of all adults. Something that was the last stat that came out ages ago, but it might have changed since then. But it's about 94% of all adults are using WhatsApp, and it's ingrained. Like we have WhatsApp family groups.
Yes, man. I was just going to say that. Like I've silenced most of my family groups, but we have WhatsApp family groups and cousins groups and siblings groups and friends groups and lads groups and it's all mixed up. But one interesting statistic that I'd like to kind of explore is open rates, right? We all strive for, Sarah and Danita will obviously attest this, because something that we do when we're doing like email campaigns or, SMS campaigns as we've done in the past, as well as like direct messaging campaigns. Like what are the open rates when it comes to WhatsApp? Like why? And I know why the answer, because the adoption rate and everybody uses WhatsApp so much more readily. It's less intrusive. What kind of open rates can you expect with using WhatsApp?
Right now, well over 90%.
There you go.
Well over 90%.
Yeah.
But that's not even the big thing. The big thing is that 90% is real.
Yeah.
And the problem with emails and SMS at the moment is not real. Yeah. Things like MacMail and things like Gmail's email protection and privacy protection rules and all that kind of technology. There is now systems out there. I mean, MacMail does this. Well, it will open your email. It will go through and click every link.
Yeah.
So there are people out there that are looking at their ads going, well, my emails have got, 100% open rate and 100% click-through rate. No. But
exactly.
True. There's even a thing that Samsung are releasing, which is a randomizer, where not only will it open everything and click every button, but it will then randomly do this with all the emails that are in your inbox consistently. So you don't even know when they're reopening it. You can't even tell anything.
Yeah, you can't tell that. There's no tracking. So sorry,
just to jump on with WhatsApp, it's just one company.
Right.
Remember that. There's no
Yeah.
one. Like, there's wins and there's falls with that, right?
Yeah.
If Meta love you, right, great. You can, best friends hand in hand, whoop-de-doo,
Yeah.
wonderful. If you start breaking the rules on any part of Meta, all of a sudden this becomes, it is very much all or
Yeah.
nothing. So it's another thing to bear in mind.
So D, how would you feel if you had those kind of open rates and speed to responses, within LinkedIn?
Yeah.
If you were to compare
I mean,
it like for like, what is it like?
Well, I'm not going to compare because I don't think it's incomparable because one's an apple, one's a pear. So I don't think there's a comparison. But I do. It's really interesting what you say, Sam, about the fact that, like you said, it's dipping, because I think the world of automation is also dipping. Like on LinkedIn, I provide done for you automation on LinkedIn for my clients, and we've now come up with a brand new strategy now, which has been like I've tested it on mine, because I always test it on mine first to see if it works, if I can sell it to my clients. And literally it has just changed the game completely. And it's no longer this like spammy messages going into your inbox, but it's using their in-mail strategy. But what's really interesting is with WhatsApp, how things are changing, aren't they? Because like you said, even though it potentially is dipping off, I mean, even the ability to create communities now on WhatsApp, which is as far as I'm concerned, because you may differ, you're way ahead. But this is something new to me in that, oh my gosh, I can now, rather than a Facebook group where I've got the LinkedIn Lab, I can now take my clients into a WhatsApp community, and within that have, 2 or 3 groups, one that is a paid group, one that isn't. But then, like you said, have just, tips and trends and stuff going out to them on a daily basis. And so that when I am ready to sell, it's like, it's a version of email marketing, isn't it? So with a 30-second read rate, for me, it's a no-brainer, because I only use WhatsApp at the moment, mainly for groups of clients that I've already paid, and I'm constantly in touch with them, because that's been going on for a while in the event space, actually, where they go, lots of speakers from stage selling courses will be like, oh yeah, and you'll be part of our WhatsApp community. But now they've actually got communities on that platform. So they are looking to go, what else can we do? What else can we do in terms of bringing people together?
Yeah, I mean, communities is a massive thing, right? And the way that it came about, essentially, was through how can we keep people on the platform for longer? So you'll notice that communities mirrors a lot of what you can do inside things like Slack, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of those. So as well as being able to be a community of something that you can then sell, it can also become a functional thing within a business for internal communication, which ties in with Facebook's biggest flop ever, which was Facebook Workspace. Workspace, which is about the least used of all of their systems. I mean, there's definitely a couple of companies that will watch this that will be like, we did that, but honestly, like we've all tried it, we've all seen it. But you're right, the functional aspect of that is huge. There is another thing they're pushing right now, which is even newer, which is channels. And channels is essentially how you can broadcast out. Now, to make a channel, you need to download Facebook, you need to download WhatsApp Business. Business for WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But
because communities isn't available on business WhatsApp yet, is it?
Exactly.
No, yeah.
Differentiator, right? That's it. So channels is, but communities isn't. There is also the third thing, which is a bit that we do, which is the WhatsApp API, where you can send out mass one-on-ones, exactly the same as you would with email. Yeah. And you can have autoresponders that are real autoresponders and real chatbots and all of that. So WhatsApp is starting to grow out its functionality quite heavily. There are rumors, and they haven't been solidified yet. They are very much rumors that there is going to be an alignment of Facebook Messenger, Instagram DMs, and WhatsApp to become one mega messaging app. If that does happen, then it's a kind of watch this space for payments coming in. And as soon as payments go into that, then we really are talking about WeChat. At that point, we are.
I was just going to say, they're moving towards that global WeChat, aren't they, bro?
Yeah, that's exactly where that space is. However, is Musk's X, Twitter, whatever, however they call it, is that going to try and move into that space as well? And is there going to be a head-to-head competition? Who knows? Like this is a sort of, these are mountains moving above us. But for me, it always goes down to that functional part of what is the person at the other end actually receiving, and is it viable for how they are working? Does it align with what their expectation is? Because there is something quite unique about the LinkedIn audience, for example.
Yeah.
People that are on there are, aside from the recruiters, let's export them for a second.
Yeah, let's take them out. We love you, recruiters. We love you, but we're taking you out.
Yeah. Other people, though, are the people that the recruiters are trying to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Those guys, it's very, very business-centric. So when you come onto that platform with an authority of business, it's very much B2B selling. We provide stuff for your business. Here it is.
Yeah.
WhatsApp is not that.
Yeah.
WhatsApp is D2C. WhatsApp is direct to consumer, literally personal level.
Yeah.
So it hasn't got the level of authority that LinkedIn does necessarily, but it definitely has better penetration than LinkedIn does across the wider audience. So you need to have something that carries that authority with it. Now, that could just be your website. Come to our website, found a landing website, loads of testimonials. It looks really clean, very neat.
Yeah.
It could be, your LinkedIn channel with loads of social proof. It could be any one of those qualifiers, however it uses. But it doesn't need to have that other thing that carries its value with it. Otherwise, it is just spam. And that, really is at that point just pure unadulterated spam. So you have to play that. You have to be qualifying the whole way through. But the other way to look at this is like a funnel, right?
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
other, where it fits into that communications funnel, because you can link WhatsApp automations with a form on someone's website. This is one of the key things that we do. Fill out this form, click submit, we'll send you over the details, and we send them via WhatsApp because they're giving us their number. We can link it up with a Facebook lead generation advert, on-platform lead generation. So they fill out they open it up, it's pre-populated, they just hit submit, boom, WhatsApp straight to them with a PDF or a video or whatever qualifier we want to have, and off we go. We can even put it behind QR codes and have QR codes all around the venue. We're talking about events where they scan the QR code, bang, straight into WhatsApp, bang, straight first, and off we go. So there's all of those different things that we can tie in. All different entry points. But I always say, whatever someone says about new tech, the big thing I always say is but like it's going to fit into something that people need to be familiar with.
Yeah.
Do you think that there could be such a thing as automated message blindness? So what I mean by that is, I had some automated messages come through on WhatsApp and I ignored them because I knew they were automated. But when they're from people I know, I open them. So I'm just wondering, if everybody starts using it, is it going to get to a point where people just ignore them because they know it's an automated message?
That's exactly what happened with Messenger bots. To the point where Facebook introduced an additional spam box. So if you remember, there used to just be 3 spam boxes, just 3 on Facebook.
That's how many were needed.
And now there's an additional one just to block out, if you unsubscribe from something, completely getting rid of it. But we can go. I actually go a little bit further than what Sarah just gone there in terms of messenger blindness. Or bot blindness specifically, which is we also fall into the habit of, if it works on one bot, we will then replicate that across the board with an agency issue and a company issue, right? Where they go, but this messaging works. And it's like, yes, but you're forgetting. People talk. People could get wise to these things. So we do have to have a constant cycle, a constant change.
But
caveat that though, there is the other side of it, which is we know it's an automated message. They don't. If it's the first time they've received it, they don't know an automated message. And we do have custom fields and custom variables that we can throw in that will hide the fact a little bit. The only question is, how comfortable do you become with that level of deception? And speaking as an ex-magician, even I start going, ugh, when I get to that level of I'd much rather make it obvious. And there's play in the obvious.
Yeah.
Right. When Absolute Vodka did their used the WhatsApp automations, they had basically they ran an event to release Absolute Unique, and the event that they ran, they had a bouncer called Sven, That was the automation. And you had to message Sven and get a ticket. You had to get past Sven, right? Which is a nice play. Everyone knew it was automated. It was clear, obvious that it was automated. But what you start getting is a play within the automation of, oh, you think that's good? I've seen that 1,000 times. It's nothing. Like, and Sven is starting to have a go at you and being like, sorry, that's not good enough. And all of this time, it's like, whoa, hang on a second. Like, what are you talking about? And basically teasing them to get something. And it's a genuine. So what I'm trying to point out is you can play with the automations. You can make them fun.
Mm.
If we lean into let's make them real, that's where we start just often running into issues that we just don't need to run into. We can just get out of it. But yeah.
And automation has really developed, hasn't it? Like I know, like initially when LinkedIn came, when people were doing LinkedIn automation, like you said, it was quite sort of, you sent a message, and then if you got a message back, the second message still went out automatically. And so therefore, if it wasn't answering that person's question, immediately people go, oh my God, this is terrible. It's really bad automation. Yeah. Whereas now it's evolved so much, plus the AI, which you were talking about earlier, Sam, where, so I think with automation, it has also, you've got the gamification part, which is what you're talking about, having the play. And then you've got the AI element where you can now make your automation look pretty real if you do it in the right way. But it's about getting marketers comfortable with automation and going, listen, you're not trying to fool your audience. No. Instead, what you're doing is you're just trying to get mass messaging out there whilst saving you time. So I think marketers need to also would you agree that they need to get comfortable with sending out automation?
Yeah, massively. I mean, a big thing that has taken, and this really is a 2022, 2023 thing, is we have moved away from the copywriter, the graphic designer, the single unit creator, essentially, over to a mass unit mechanism, right? A mass unit creation mechanism. ChatGPT changed the game for copywriters. Dolly and other things have changed the game for visual effects, and there's more and more and more coming. Again, we know there's ones coming in the voice sphere. We know there are ones coming in the logic sphere. We know the mathematics, it's already disappeared into the ether. So, those things are still there. And it's a change of paradigm shift, basically, change of complete frame in terms of going, we don't need to see what the end result is. We need to think one step back. What is the process that creates a continuous stream of end results?
Yeah.
And then how do we create a testing process that continually tests that stream of results? But, and this is where the juxtaposition happens, this is where the illogic happens, because people still buy for the very, very original reasons they buy.
Yeah.
Right? People will only ever see one, hopefully, will only ever see 1 to maybe 7 different adverts that you put out before making a purchase decision. They may need to see more, but generally speaking, that's the volume. So you still need to have that static element in order to have enough testing to make it work. So there is what's the word I'm looking for? Inherent hypocrisy in what I'm saying, right? Because in both that it needs to be changed and needs to be dynamic, you need to adopt and adapt to that dynamic build position. Yeah. You also mustn't lose sight of the fact that, Coca-Cola is a massive company, and they've existed for 50, 60, God knows how many years back when none of this stuff existed.
Yeah.
So it must be doing something right. There must be some element of truth in what's already been working.
Yeah.
That we need to not lose, in this new faster. Stuff.
People still want human connection. Sorry, Fish. People still want human connection, don't they? Like that. I don't think that's ever going to go away.
It's got to be seamless, right,
more
Sarah?
And more automated, they'll crave it even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's got to be seamless, though, right, Sarah? Like you got to find that line. Like you got to play with it. I grant, like you have to play with it, but you got to find that line where it just becomes seamless. Like, yes, it's a bot, but we're doing this so that we can get you to where you need to get to quicker. It's almost like having an interactive voice response that you have on a phone. Press 1, whatever, but doing it in a quicker fashion so that customer journey just becomes actually enjoyable, because you can especially if you're using a bot for customer service or you're using it for like, after sales stuff, like it genuinely helps de-escalate a customer so quickly. But yeah, like, it's a wonder what you can and can't achieve with it. Now, you touched on AI, and I want to go into this because, having a bot do bot things, like, you have to construct that flow, right?
Yes.
Where does AI fit into kind of blowing the lid off that and actually having some sort of a interactive engagement with people and then handing them off to a human? Like, is it ever going to replace a human, or are we going to find that there's going to be hybrid forever?
I mean, who knows? Who knows if I'm actually here now talking to you? As I pixelate out. No, the fact is, it will get better and better and better and closer and closer and closer to being, to being real. The question is, though, how good are we going to be at spotting that? Right?
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid playing a Nintendo 64 and thinking, oh my God, these graphics are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Right? And genuinely thinking that could be real, on some of those things.
I remember Atari and thinking that was amazing as well.
Yeah. And now we look back at it and we think, what is this? Like, what is this isolated madness that I'm staring at? I mean, now we look at PS5's graphics and go, wow, that's really close.
Yeah.
But we forget when we look back at the PS2 and we go, oh, actually, I can see this is pixelated.
Yeah.
I can see it. So we as humans adapt very, very fast to being able to spot what's real and what isn't. So there's always going to be that battle. Do I think AI is ever going to catch up to that? Maybe, but we're talking about massive computing power at a level that just doesn't yet exist, or at least to my knowledge doesn't yet exist. So it's one of those, yes, probably, but again, we could say we're 10 years off, but then we were saying that about AI and ChatGPT suddenly appeared. So one of those where we don't know how far off we are, but what I currently have access to, we are quite far off.
So Sam, I know I'm conscious of time because obviously you've got to rush off. So very quickly, to our listeners, what would you advise them right now? What are some of the key things to be doing when it comes to automation, WhatsApp? What is the right thing to do or test right now?
Best thing to test right now, if you're not doing instant messaging, do instant messaging.
Okay.
Right? That's the one thing, right? It's called instant messaging for a reason, right? Yeah. It is instant. It sharpens it completely decreases the speed at which every kind of interaction has to happen. So it speeds up massively your number of sales that you make, right? That's number one. Number two, focus on speed, right? If like literally every talk I give can basically be boiled down into be faster, right? Essentially, that's what it can be boiled down to. Because we always talk about how do we get more sales, right? I'm doing one sale a week. How can I do more sales? Yeah. And there's two answers to that. Wait more weeks, which is doing nothing, change nothing, just wait longer.
Just wait.
Right? Or, you'll have 4 sales in 4 weeks. Or do it faster and you'll have 4 sales in 1 week. So every time you talk about optimization, most of the time we talk about doing things faster. So just get faster, basically. Get faster in decision-making, get faster in everything. And everything you can do that speeds up something, do it. That's the biggest, it's the number one thing that changes conversion rate optimization is speed. Speed. And because ultimately you want people to make actions quicker at their end. Yeah. Again, I'm getting more conversions. We've been getting conversions faster. Yeah. And you could almost turn every phrase from someone saying, I want more of X into, no, you just want X to happen faster.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's some great advice there, my friend.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Sam. That's been so insightful.
Catch you in a bit. Bye-bye.